Certainly nothing going on in the markets, that's for sure. Other than they're going up, and who go figure. This is exactly why we don't try to outguess or outthink the markets, right? I mean, again, here you go. Okay, I mean, what is the driving force? Okay, that's if anybody knows that answer, okay, then you'd be on a beach somewhere. Okay, it's like I would find it hard to believe, other than like pension funds and things like that anybody would want to be long here. Now, I think my number one concern and what we're watching, we're long, so obviously I can't be upset about that. Okay, but I think this lack of volume is starting to get starting to bother me. Okay, and I'm not talking about little bits of volume missing. I'm talking about lots of volume missing. Okay, I mean, if we look at the indexes today, okay, we didn't make a million contracts. So Friday, okay, we had the lowest volume day in months, and today we had the same. Okay, so that's something that's concerning. Okay, the lack of participation right now is concerning. It is summer, so again, I can make up excuses as to why. Right, but again, I don't. Me, I don't make up excuses. I just tell you what bothers me. I've seen this before. Again, it always ends the same. There'll be a move. There'll be volume will suddenly show up, and suddenly it'll be back in business. And this is where if you remember Seinfeld, the shrinkage. This is the shrinkage of everything right now. This is where the Bollinger Bands become pretty much very narrow. If you're a watcher of them, okay, they become very narrow. Why? Because there's very little activity. So all that really happens now is a change in what is considered a standard deviation. It should pick up after Labor Day. Is it due to summer? I mean, you remember, we've been kind of slow anyways. Okay, I think there's a lot of, if you were to ask me to give you a reason, I think there are lots of concerns out there. Okay, I think that there are lots of concerns about the country right now. I think that you're seeing some pension funds that are in trouble. Okay, no worries. Let me know. I'm good. I'm not going to give out anything anyways. Okay, so we know pension funds are struggling right now. We know the entire workforce, no matter what the jobs number was. Okay, we know that there are lots of issues out there that relate to jobs that are not what the numbers say. Okay, so look, I've seen it before. I've been involved in before. Well, you cannot get a 1987 crash ever again. Okay, that can't happen. I was there. I traded through it. Okay, because again, the circuit breakers are the things that will stop that from happening. Could we get a major meltdown? Could we see a 50 to 60% haircut in the market? Yeah, I think we will. Okay, that's what I've said for a while. But I also said for a while that I'm not going to go against what the market is telling me, nor what the algorithms are telling me, because there's a lot of money to be made being long, even though in our minds we know that we shouldn't be going higher. Okay, I mean, I can't imagine anybody believes that this should be going up the way it's going up, but it does. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Okay, because the market is absolute. Okay, the market is what it is. I mean, this is. If you were short coming in today, you got drilled. Okay, that's it. It's that simple. Okay, but again, circuit breakers changed a lot of the dynamics. Everything that they have done to try to control massive volatility has done just that. Okay, but you could certainly see a day where it's down limit, but limit is not, is 10% or 13%. Okay. But again, I could easily see and actually believe that we will see. Okay, I'm here. You can start now. Well, I always wait for you. I can't start until you get here. What market businesses are absent? No, I think really it's the real. I think it's really the retail traders that are trading right now. Okay, I think the big funds are absent. Okay, I think the big pensions are absent because they're in trouble. So many of them. But I think that what you're really watching is that the funds, the bigger money, is letting the littler money, the smaller money, the retail money, buy away right now. Okay, because in their mind they're just waiting to sell, and they can't sell. They can't sell too quickly because they would destroy the market, for that period of time. If some of the big funds came in and declared a major sale, you could see this thing trash right away. I don't think they want to see that. They want to be able to sell more. And I think that the sellers on the way up are the commercials, the big funds. Okay. And we'll see. Look at it again. I'm speculating like anybody else, but I have seen the movie before, and it does end the same way. And you're seeing. I mean, take a look at housing. Okay, look what's going on in the housing market. All of a sudden, housing's drying up. Okay, in my neighborhood, for example, in Las Vegas, my good neighborhood. You could 3 weeks ago, or a month ago, 6 weeks ago, whatever it was, you could put a house out for sale and sell it in day one for over list. There was a fight for it. All of a sudden, in my neighborhood, which is only 2 years old, okay, there's houses up for sale everywhere now. Can't sell them. Okay, we actually were looking at a trade, okay, to move from one house to another. I have a 2-story, which I prefer to have a 1-story, but long and short of it is we looked and they're offering a rebate on the house already. Okay. The demand has fallen. Okay. And of course that's got a lot to do with mortgage. Now I have a big advantage because I don't need a mortgage. I can pay cash. So I don't worry about because here you have to qualify for a 7.5%. Okay. Well, they're still building here too, but it doesn't mean that they're not buyers. There's a difference between buying projects that you committed to and being able to sell. Okay, let's remember, this happens on a regular basis. Okay, the builders start building before it all falls apart. Okay, and then they get stuck when it all falls apart. Okay, this is what happened to the builders in 2007 and 8. Okay, now again, I'm not saying that's going to happen now, but certainly you have to look at the warning signs that are there. Like, you have to be aware of the issues that are there. And again, does it change my trade? Absolutely not. Okay, I'm just giving you some factual information. Okay, and what you might expect in the future. I'm telling you what might be. What could possibly be the driving factors of pushing this market lower. Okay. But as long as volume remains pathetic, okay, we ain't going down. Okay. As long as this volume stays, I mean, right now, today, 88,000 Dow contracts traded. Okay. Normally we get close to 200,000. Okay. Under 1 million, 900,000 NASDAQ. Normally we're well over 2 million. Okay. And the S&P was what? 824. We're normally well over 2 million in the S&P. Okay. So you keep that kind of dull market and that kind of volume, you ain't going down. You might have a down day. Okay. You might see a sell-off, but the buyers will be right back. Okay. This is not a market that is going to be active. Okay. And for those of you who day trade with me every morning, you know about this. We've been watching this together for months at how quiet it is. Now, we've managed to do very well, especially based on the conditions that we have. Okay. But that's the key. You remember, we don't get to decide what the conditions of the market are. The market is what it is. We have to adjust our way of thinking, okay, to what's going on in the market, which means you follow the tape action. Okay, Fox Business, follow. A few people, U.S. enters housing recession. You know, it's funny. And what did I say 6 months ago? Okay. If you go back and listen to my old recordings, I already nailed everything that's happening right now. Okay. With one exception. The markets haven't broken. Okay. So again, they attempted to go down, but then they stopped. Now, again, when you look at the picture, remember, okay, you know, the old saying, you play the cards you're dealt, not the ones you want. Okay. Because you got to play the hand. The hand is what you got. Okay? And this is what we have. And right now, the markets are defying all odds of going higher. But again, there's no volume. So it makes it easier to go higher. It's just like we talked about this morning on the blow-off pattern. The blow-offs have an opportunity to show up a little bit faster, okay, if they show up, but they're not as good because there wasn't heavy volume to begin with, okay? You know, volumes, we don't talk about it a lot because normally it's not this bad, okay? But now that it's becoming an issue, it needs to be addressed that there's an old saying in the world of markets, you never sell into a dull market. Now they don't get much duller than this. Okay. So, you know, and not that it won't go down, but trying to force a sale into an uptrend, okay, with no reason is a fool's game. Okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So, I mean, what I want you to understand, okay, is that they'll go down. The markets are going to go down again at some point. Okay. At what point, we have no idea. But there's absolutely no reason, and nobody here can give me a legitimate reason as to why the markets are going up. Okay. I mean, the economy sucks. I don't care what anybody says. We said we were in a recession long before they tried to change the rules of what a recession is, but still in a recession because you never sell the market is right. That's a bad, and I've done it. Okay, I've lost plenty trying to sell dull markets in my career. Don't worry about it. I know all about it. Okay, I can teach you how to lose $5,000 in $1,000 range anytime you want. Okay, but anyways, so the economy sucks. We know that. And again, you don't have to look at the numbers. I mean, what do you need to look at numbers for? Look at your own bank account, your own bank balance. Look at your own life. Okay, that's if you're a middle class or an average person, you're like everybody else. Okay, that's a recession. Okay, prices are going higher. Yes, crude oil has come down quite a bit. Is it going to collapse here? I don't know. Could. It could be over. I doubt it. I mean, what has happened? Are we using that much less fuel right now? I mean, it's possible. Okay, but you know, commodities have been hurt recently, but they're still much higher than they were. You're still paying more at the grocery store than you were paying before. Okay, so you're spending dollars going a lot less than it used to go. Okay. So even though you may be making more money or the same money, the spending dollar does a lot less today. Okay. Which makes obviously things more concerning. But again, until the tape changes and the trend changes, okay. Well, natty gas we're long. Okay. I mean, you know, again, natty gas is like playing in a casino. I mean, it can be great. Okay. But we've been long natty gas for quite a while. Okay. You know, again, I listen, we've been long it for, I don't know, months. Okay. You know, we've got a hell of a profit in it. Okay. Even with the pullback, we've still got a hell of a profit in it. Okay. And we will stay long it, but we'll get there. We'll get there when we get to all the stuff. But, you know, again, so when you look at the picture, okay, the picture is fairly clear. Okay, the economy sucks. Okay, there is not anything that is really good for the American people, but yet markets go up. Okay, and this is what you have to learn to understand is that the markets themselves are going to do what the markets are going to do. Okay, you are not going to tell the markets what to do. The markets are going to do what the markets are going to do. Now, where else would you be investing your money now? That would be your first question, okay, is where would you be investing your money right now? If you weren't in the stock market, where would you be? Are you going to go to the bonds at 2.7? Okay. Do you have any other good places to invest your money right now? Okay. And probably not, which is another catalyst, because with lack of deals, with lack of places to go, okay, it's hard. The Democrats want a strong market going to the elections. Well, again, I don't believe in manipulation. Okay. I believe in spoofing. I believe in those things, right? Okay. Again, we've had this conversation with gold and every other product. Okay. Now, do they want, yeah, sure they want a strong market, but they cannot make this market strong enough to change the outcome of this election. Okay. This election is preordained unless, I've heard some rumors, and maybe some of you have heard them, about martial law. Okay. But nothing's going to change what they've already done. They cannot ever recover the damage that has been done to the middle class people. Okay. From the more taxes that we're paying, to the lack of work, in their eyes, to the higher dollar, all the things that affect us directly. Okay. Can they try to push up? Of course they can. Okay. Listen, that's what the Federal Reserve is for. That's why the fiat currency system is the most fraudulent system in the world. Okay. Because it gives governments, not just the United States, it gives governments, okay, a way to taxation without representation. Okay. That gives them that opportunity to do that. Okay. So, emergency fund of 1.5 million barrels a day dropped, hurting the oil. I don't think so. Okay. Look, I think that draining the strategic, the SPR, okay, which is the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which is really meant for wartime, okay, has never worked in history. Okay, this is not just this time; it has never worked in history. Okay, that oil has got to be replaced. Now, who's going to replace it? If we don't drill it ourselves, who's going to replace it? Okay, that's the question. Okay. How are we going to replace that oil? Okay, well, one of the ways it can get replaced, we're going to have to either drill it ourselves or buy it from, guess who? The Saudis. Okay, so look, as far as I'm concerned, we should be drilling oil, fracking, shale producing. We should be liquefying natural gas and doing all that. I don't think we should have changed any of that yet. We are not equipped nor prepared to go into the next form of energy. Okay. It may be fine on a smaller scale in certain places. Okay. And some people have emailed me, told me that they're using a lot there, and it's great, but we don't have enough service stations to recharge or to refuel if you're using natural gas. We don't have enough of anything, and we never have. Okay. Because of course, if we go back down to the bottom line, who knows what the bottom line is about all this that I'm talking about? What is the bottom line of everything I'm talking about? You know the answer to this. What do you say, Bruce? You know the answer to this. Come on. Somebody got to answer me. 500 people, money. It's about money. Okay. This country has a history of having corporate America control government. Okay. Not just the Biden administration. I'm talking about all the way back as long as I'm alive, 65 years. Okay. And I'm sure before that, but it used to be big tobacco. Then it became big oil. Okay. And big oil still got their hands on it. Listen, could we have had the technology to be solar today? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, and I don't know. Okay. However, okay, honey, thank you. However, I do know that until the big oil producers, okay, are prepared to deliver that service, we ain't getting it. Okay. We are not setting up to be ready to rock and roll into a new form of energy until the big companies are set up and ready to go. You can start out with marijuana, pot. Okay. What logical reason is pot? You miss nothing except my usual bullshit. Okay. What logical reason can anybody here give me why marijuana is not legalized? Okay. Give me one logical reason that it's not legalized. And I don't think you can. Okay. I don't think you can. Corporatism, yeah. I'm 68. I think we're serious trouble. Well, I think we are in serious trouble, and I do think that this administration could push us over the top. However, the beautiful thing about America, okay, is every 2 years you get an election. Okay, so we're coming close to November. Okay, so we can change things faster. Okay, obviously we need term limits. We all know that. We all know what we need. Okay, but are we going to get it? Okay, and that's probably the answer is no. Okay, because again, you got to get the politicians to agree on term limits. And you know, guys who spend $40 million of their own money to get elected to a $200,000 a year job obviously have a much bigger agenda that go along with that. Okay, but let's go back to energy. So you are not going to get to solar or wind power or anything alternative until corporate America. Because if you look at the pot industry, I think pot's legal in what, 38 out of 38 or 40 states, is that correct? Is that possibly correct? I mean, Trump blew this too. Okay. Again, I'm pissed at him about this too. He could have done it. Okay. He could have legalized marijuana, but who knows how many states were legal in. Okay. So with all the tax revenue and all the dollars that they could be making, okay, to help, you know, satisfy our national debt or to piss away like they do with everything else, okay, they would be making a fortune on taxing these companies, okay, and these dollars, okay, because listen, what do we know for sure? People that smoke pot are gonna smoke pot, whether they can buy it legally or not. They're buying it, right? Okay, if you smoke pot in the 70s or the 60s, it wasn't legal. You bought it. You had a guy in the street with a nickel bag or a dime or a lid, whatever they call it back then. Okay, so it didn't matter. Okay, but so now it's legal in whatever it is, 38 states, I think. So just why not federally legalize it? You know, the sports gambling industry, very similar. Okay. Now, 19 states are legal. Okay, you would know. Okay, so tell me this: 19 for recreational. How many in total, including medicinal? Right. That's the other portion. Medicinal. Okay. I know you know the answer because you're on the board. So now, but let's look at it this way. Okay. Sports gambling is now legal in 50 states. Now, we don't have it in 50 states right now because obviously each state has its own choice, which is obviously the way the Constitution reads, is it's, you know, city, county, state, and there should be federal government should be an overseer. But of course, that's long gone. But why can't pot be the same? Okay. Why can't it be federally legalized and determined by the state? If they don't want it, then they don't have to have it. But why not make it federally legal so that you could help out these smaller companies that built this industry, okay, and allow them to make money while you're letting Altria and all the others get caught up, okay? See, this is the problem when you pick winners and losers. There's a large jail population that would have to let go and tax return to the people that, well, again, I don't know about that. I have no answer myself. Okay, I listen to everybody's answer and I respect whatever you have to say, but I don't know. But I do know the amount of dollars that would be generated for the country, for each individual state, and then of course federal, would be huge. Okay, the amount of money that would be generated for investors would be huge. But again, when you're in a position, 37 in total with medicinal, thank you. Okay, so 37 states in total, half of those 37, or just over half, or just more than half, are recreational. The rest are medicinal. Okay, but we all know that. Yeah, listen, how many of you, if anybody smokes pot here, I do not. I did. I tried it. You know, last time I smoked a joint was how old am I? 65. 48 years ago. Okay, and that was the last time. Okay, so but if you do smoke, okay, you smoke it anyways, right? So what's the difference? Okay, so again, we can't have a government pick winners and losers, which is exactly what this administration, more than any administration, is doing. They're picking the winners and the losers. Okay. And it was always my understanding growing up that the Democratic Party was the party for the small guy. Well, this Democratic Party that we have now is certainly not for the small guy. Okay. They've screwed every small business out of business. Okay. And in the business, they're wiping out all the small pot companies at the same time. Okay. So, they never want to wipe out the deficit, by the way. Okay. When the Federal Reserve became to be, okay, that was the reason to be able to screw everybody. Okay. Now, listen, if you don't understand, go back and check your history. Central banking started in England in the 1600s when they were thriving. Okay. When they were still the kings. Okay. They ain't the kings no more. Okay. Empires go away. If anybody saw that TikTok video, okay, about empire, about the guy from Qatar, and he said, I'll summarize it. He said, my grandfather drove a camel, my father drove a camel, I drive a Mercedes, my son will drive a Land Rover or a Range Rover, my grandson will drive a Range Rover, but after that, I'm sorry to say that it looks like we'll be going back to camels. Okay. California returns 1.2 billion in tax revenues in 2021. Now multiply that out. Now, obviously, California is a big state. Okay, one of the biggest, and that's a big thing for the gambling industry coming up in November. Okay, but imagine the tax revenue that would be produced if you had legalized marijuana. Not to mention the investing revenue. Nobody looks at the big picture here. Okay, here's the big picture. I'm going to sum it up quickly because, again, I don't want to get in a rant here, but the big picture is very simple. Okay, if they wanted to take care of business, they could put this all to bed. These taxes would be generated, and then you'd have the ability for all the big investment firms to invest in these smaller pot stocks, these pot companies. Okay, which would return more money for the investors. So the company would be paying money. The firms would be paying more money, and the investors would pay more tax dollars. And what would that do for everybody? Oh, that would only help the government. Okay, but they don't want that. I don't know. I can't talk about this, Scoop. Sorry, babe. that's out of my realm here. Okay, that I can talk to you privately, but never. That's a little bit too much for me. Okay, but again, think about it. Okay, so why don't they want to do it? It's not logical. Okay, this is what my point. I'm a big person that believes in clean, pure logic, which we don't use. Okay, or not we, but the government doesn't use. Okay, now again, these extended terms that we've watched, these guys are, Mitch McConnell. I'll go to the other side. He's a jagoff too. He should be out of office too. Okay. And his idiot wife, Elaine Chao, is that her name? Okay. I mean, look, again, I'm not a fan of either side. So let's never confuse the issue. Okay. We've got a broken down system that comes down to money. Okay. Okay. That's the bottom line. Okay. And until we make changes to the system, okay, which is really just term limits, because that's the only way you can really ever stop all the graft. Okay, what do you say, buddy? The only way you can stop the graft and the lobbyists and all the other garbage is by term limits. And I'm talking about, in my opinion, 1 6-year term for the president, because a president gets elected now, all he's doing is for 2 years, he's working on re-election. Governments are stealing UK, EU, they always are. This is the central banking system. Look at your history books. Okay. The central banking system is designed. Look who started the Federal Reserve in this country. Okay, Rothschilds, one of the biggest criminals in the world. J.P. Morgan, the Rockefellers. Do you think any one of those people could give a shit about you? I understand, but they're going to do it anyways. My point is very simple. They're going to smoke pot anyways. Those who smoke are going to smoke. No, Goldman's no better. I'm not defending anybody, but the originators of the Federal Reserve on Jekyll Island there's a couple others involved, but those are the main names. Okay. And again, look, I'm not an advocate for anything, for drugs or whatever, again, but people are going to do what people are going to do, are they not? Okay. So why not legalize it and benefit from it? Okay. I don't want to get into prostitution. We'd be here all day. Okay. So, but when we look at what's going on, there is nothing that is really that exciting that is going on that is good. Housing is falling apart. Okay. You've got the hotels falling apart. They don't get as much, they're not getting much travel business anymore. Airlines continue to reduce. Okay. And once again, shortly, we're going to be back down to 3 or 4 airlines. Okay. In which then they can price fix you. They're already sticking at the end now. Okay. Because there's not as many flights. Okay. So, you have to remember, what's going on yourself. Again, if you just take a logical view, look at the cost of drugs. I was with a guy last night who does not have insurance. He needs a bypass surgery. He's going to Costa Rica to pay 25 grand for a surgery that here would be over 200,000. Okay. In the meantime, he's on a drug that he's got to pay for himself for $1,300 a month. Now you tell me, who should be paying $1,300 a month for a drug? Okay. They wanted to charge me personally. Okay. And I have insurance. When I had all those tests a few weeks ago, I forget what it's called. When they do an ultrasound of your heart, whatever it's called. Okay. Electrocardiogram, whatever they call that thing. Okay. How much do you think that thing was just by itself without insurance? If you had to pay for it, how much do you think that was? I'll give you $1 if you tell me how much it was, if you're not a doctor. Okay. It was 22,000. It took 5 minutes. Okay. 22,000. It took 5 minutes. Okay. So now they send me a bill. Okay. After all these tests for $4,700. I said, you know what you can do at $4,700? You can stick it up your ass. I ain't paying nothing. Okay. You can ruin my credit all you want. I don't need credit anymore. Anyways. So again, the medical system is a tragedy. Okay. Our insurance system is a tragedy. Now I know a lot of you guys are in insurance business, and I'm sorry to bash you, but I got to bash what's fact. Okay. Fact is very simple. Why do they not allow insurance to compete over state lines? Health insurance. Tell me, what is the reasoning? Would prices, if they made it a competitive market, would prices not be lower? Okay. Your 9 days in ICU, probably $500,000 if I were to guess. Okay. And I'm being serious. I'm not being facetious. I'm being dead serious. 9 days in ICU, probably $500,000. Okay. You're very, well, of course I'm close. What do you think? Listen, the system, think about it this way. Okay. We have it's not a criminal system. I don't have the greatest vocabulary, so I'm not going to give you the right words. Okay. But very simply, the doctors, for years, this was a great pride to be a doctor. They would take your time. They would work with you. Listen, when I grew up, the house calls, right? Okay. Now it's a freaking factory. And the doctors don't make the same kind of money they used to make. Okay. Because they gotta see so many patients, and they're always fighting with the insurance companies. They got to have a whole department just to fight the insurance company. So they're screwing each other, right? So the doctors are overbilling, the insurance companies are beating them down. And who gets the screwing it when it's all said and done? Who gets it shoved up their ass when it's all said and done? We do. Okay. Something unusual. Okay. So again, we need competition. And this is one thing that's really disturbing about this administration is the destruction of competition. Okay. Facebook and Google and Twitter will never have a competitor. Okay. Now, are you happy about that? Is anybody here happy about that? Okay. I mean, think about it. They're never going to have anybody who can compete with them because nobody can ever get big enough. And by the time you should get a concierge doctor. I do have one. Listen, for myself, I have that. Okay. I pay myself, right? I have a doctor, but I'm talking about, but you can't use a concierge doctor if you need a referral. Okay. They don't accept, the insurance companies don't accept a referral from a concierge doctor. I have a concierge doctor. Okay. So again, I get it. And listen, you're very bright and brilliant. I know you. Okay. But I'm just saying that I have all that, but you still can't beat. Okay. If my concierge doctor gives me a referral, it's not insured. Okay. So if I have to go into a network, so I can get at least it covered by insurance. Okay. I think there should be all kinds of competition, but why isn't there? Well, because of money. That's why. Look, it comes to everything. As I tell you every week, life comes down to two things. One of them is always money. Okay. One is always money. I don't give a shit what you think, what you say. One is always about money. Okay. And that's what we have, unfortunately. It's down to money. So we get to get screwed because of money. So you have no competition. And how much longer do you think it's going to be before there's only two retailers left, Walmart and Amazon? Okay. I mean, they've systematically taken out every small drugstore. Okay. It's funny. There's a company, you guys hear a company called Paul Davis, an employment company. I don't know. Actually, I don't know what the hell they do. But it's funny. My uncle's name is Paul Davis, and he was a pharmacist. And every time I hear it, I go, Jesus Christ, they put the poor son on before she's old. So he was already retired. But they put him out of business. Okay. So, anyways, and sometimes there's a nested referral. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. USA, private equity, BlackRock, et cetera, have got claws into. Listen, BlackRock bought everything. Okay. BlackRock's buying. They bought my daughter's company. Okay. So they're buying everything. Listen. Again, this is the problem when you give the cheap money. Okay, to those who can afford it. Okay, those who can take it. Okay, it makes return on investment much bigger. Had I a decent doctor, I would never have to go and go home and shake it off. Yeah, MFR is right. So in the meantime, we talk about the dollar, right? The dollar, Delta X-ray for those of you keeping score at home and making sure that I still remember my phonetical alpha airport, my alphabetical phonetics. Okay, for the airlines. Okay. But anyways, so Delta X-ray, look, the dollar's going higher. It came down, it went all the way up to 110 or so, it came back down. We're still long. It came right down to support. But all this, every time this goes up, all this is doing is taking more money away from you. Okay. And I'm still waiting for somebody to answer my question, okay, as to if a lower dollar is good, why? Okay. Other than for export. But if I'm exporting for less dollars, in percentage wise, what difference does it make? It makes no logical sense. In the meantime, we're still long 105. Right now it's 105 to 107. Okay, that's the range, pretty tight range, but going up and a higher dollar. All that means is your dollars buy less. Okay, because you're paying more for them. Okay, the euro currency has been hovering around again. Looks almost identical, except if you turn it upside down, right? Okay, to the dollar, which it should because it's 55% of the dollar. Okay, and we're still short. And to me, this is 101 to 103. But I'm telling you, okay, I'll put it in writing. It's going to 88 cents. It may not be tomorrow, but it's going to 88 cents. Okay, the UK is going bust. Okay, Germany's right behind them. Okay, you don't think this is over yet, do you? Okay, this is going to turn into This could be turned into the nightmare of all nightmares coming forward. Okay, because you could see in a very real probable world, Russia and China control all of Europe. Okay, and all of Asia. Okay, so this is getting to be very serious. Why 88 cents versus 85? Well, no, I mean 88 cents was the low back in whenever it was, 20 years ago. Okay, that's a number I remember. It may go to zero eventually. That's my target. How's that? I'm sorry. I'll rephrase that. Okay. It's my target. Okay. In the meantime, for today, 101, 103 and a half or so, right near the peak there. Okay. And Bitcoin, we're now long Bitcoin. And notice, remember, I told you this. And again, these are things I want you to learn. Okay. As you go through your trading life, Okay, your investing life. These are things I want you to learn. Okay, that into an ascending pattern, you don't necessarily want to be shorting a market, any market. Okay, because the market is telling you that there's a greater likelihood that it's going higher. Okay, that's what the market is telling you. Forget about what I'm telling you. That's what the market's telling you. Okay, higher highs, higher lows, ascending into resistance is not a spot to be a seller, which is why I told you, even though we were short at the time, I would not be wanting to sell more because it looked like it could break to the upside. And look what's happened. Okay, we rallied a little bit, and now what are we doing now? We're consolidating once again at a higher price level. And I would say that you're looking at, you know, the 22,000 to 26,000 with 24.5, the key number right now to get through. Okay. Central banking should be disallowed is correct. Okay. Well, of course they want to nationalize medicine. That's this goes way before nationalized medicine. Okay. Remember, a lot of these problems have been developing over many, 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 many years. Okay. So this goes long before national medicine was even a consideration that they wouldn't allow across straight lines. Okay. So we don't need central banking. Central banking was a hoax to begin with. You know, it was that there would never be a market crash again. How many have we had since? Okay. The Keynesian method of economics or the morons way. Now, again, like I said, it's not that the Hayek or Austrian is better. I think there's a great combination. I think there's a great mix. In what world do you go bust and they say you're too big to fail, we're going to bail you out? Okay. In what world do they not let companies go out of business? Okay. So anyways, so Bitcoin 22 to 26, the bonds, we're still long. Look, I hate them. I know interest rates are going higher. Okay. It's written, the handwriting is everywhere. Okay. The interest rates are got to go up. Okay. We're still nominally negative. Okay. So prognosis negative, wasn't it a Seinfeld line too? Anyways, in the meantime, we're long. Now, again, do I like being long? No, I don't. I hate bonds. Okay. Listen, I got it stuck up my tushy from who is it? Must have been Bernanke back in 08. Okay, being short bonds. I hate being long bonds. But again, they're going higher. So am I the one who's going to tell them they can't go higher anymore? Okay. You know, interest rates may be short-term going down here, but they're going a lot higher. Okay. You remember, suddenly the demand for money is going to lessen. We're already in so much massive debt. You know, what's going to happen when all this debt comes due? Okay. The market should drive all things. We have regulations, but central bankers, yes, 100%. The market, listen, in a real world, the market should be the driving factor. Okay. The real world price discovery itself should be the driving factor. There should not be outside interfering in all these different economic things, but that's the only way they can steal your money. Okay. Remember what they're really doing. It's called, I believe in 1776, there was a Revolutionary War. I believe, I'm not sure, and it was based on taxation without representation, if I remember correctly. Okay. I was there. Okay. And that's what we're getting. And that's what the central banks create. Okay. They're not creating anything for you. They're creating higher taxes for you. They're creating higher costs for you. They're devaluing your currency on a regular basis. So, and of course the bonds, look, we're long. Okay. So I'm not a new buyer. I'm long. Okay. I think 140 is probably support. And I think probably you're looking at 143 as resistance. Now, again, I wouldn't be, because we're long, I wouldn't be such an aggressive seller as I'd like to be. Okay. Now, during the day, again, it doesn't matter. Remember, when I'm talking to you now, I'm talking about our long positions, our long-term positions that are, you know, could be days, weeks, months, or even years. Okay. So that's the what we're talking about now. I'm not talking about what happens intraday. Okay. I made good money today being short bonds for a part of the day. Okay. So again, but that has nothing to do with what I'm showing you now. So don't mix the two. Okay. And let me down 140 to 143, we're still long. Gold, we're still short. And look what happened. Okay. It could not. Now, this is an important thing to understand. Okay. Now I told you that I would not want to be an aggressive short. Okay, as it was going up. And I said, I thought there was an outside chance if they get perked a little bit higher, they might reverse. Well, they never got that. They never got there. They never reversed, and they continue to fail at resistance and now have broken. Okay. And again, this doesn't mean they're going to zero. And I wouldn't tell you run out and say, oh, we'll start being an aggressive seller now. I will tell you now, though, that they are in a tight range, probably 1770 to 1820. Okay. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him go below there. Okay. Now, again, I'm not an aggressive seller here. The time for aggression is over. Okay. Now it's really a defense mechanism to watch, and you're in a position. Okay. You know what it is. But now we reached the pinnacle and it failed. Okay. Now, does it mean that it can't get back there in the next day or two? No, it could be there tomorrow. Okay. It could break through there tomorrow. Okay. But for now, based on what we're watching, this should go lower and rally should be sold. Okay. Now, again, I'm not asking you or suggesting that you become too aggressive in this, because I can sense the potential of a big breakout to the upside. Okay. But again, based on the algorithms, based on what I'm watching here, the short side is the right side. Okay. Which is good because it lets me buy more physical that I can put away and not worry about. Because when I put physical, I don't trade it. I don't even care. Right. In the meantime, 1770 to 1820. Silver, which is the opposite. Silver did break above and it got to the next level and it's starting to fail. Okay. Now it's not going to change the signal. Okay. It's still trending higher. Okay. And it would have to probably break below $20 again, or below 19 and change. Okay. But again, here I would certainly look to be a buyer on a dip. Okay. I'd be a buyer at $20. Okay. As a trade. Okay. And of course, when I say things to you like that, I want to know what the action is at that time, right? Did it sneak down there? Was it one trade that got it there? Again, there's a lot of factors that you have to weigh into when you're short-term trading a market. It's not just, well, this is a level that I got. Well, that level is great for right now. Okay. And if it happens right now over here, then I'd buy it. Okay. But again, I want to see it when it gets there. And what you really need to learn how to use is a secondary time frame. Okay. One time frame, which is the one you watch. This is what we do here. Okay. This is what I do when I'm day trading with my members. We're watching 4 minutes, which is a long-term time frame, and then we're watching 1 minute to make the decision. Once the 4 minute tells us what to do, okay, then we use the 1 minute to confirm what we were told. Okay. Oops. So we go to our mom and say, Mom, can I go and ask your father? Dad, can I go? What'd your mother say? She said, yes. I said, okay, you can go. Okay. We're looking for confirmation. Okay. So anyways, silver is like 20 to 21. Platinum, which we don't trade. Okay. But once again, just when I thought it was hard to look really good, bang. Now, we would be long, I think, if we don't trade platinum anymore because it's not liquid enough to trade for us. Okay. Certainly, we would probably be long it here. And again, I'm a big fan in general. Okay. I think my biggest position is probably in platinum in a physical, well, probably silver, but obviously silver's, not anywhere near the value of what an ounce of platinum is. So, but I do like platinum. Okay. I like them all, but I think platinum, I was tempted to step in and maybe buy into this dip myself personally. Just again, I can't trade it with everybody because it's not liquid enough. In the meantime, we're really 925 is a level, but 900 is still in play, and it's got to get through 975. So we'll say for today 925 to 975. Okay. Copper, which we're still short. And again, what did I tell you last week and the week before? I drew these lines in for you. These aren't because I like to draw. I'm a crappy drawer. I was never good. I couldn't stay in the lines when I was coloring with crayons. Okay. I mean, I'm not how high are rates? Right. Listen, you got to qualify for a 7% mortgage if you're buying new construction. Okay. I can only tell you this. Okay. I took tests when I was younger, and they said, you can do anything you want in life except things that need a lot of dexterity. Okay. So I'm not a good drawer. Okay. Fortunately, at least I have and I'm a lousy typist. So at least, fortunately, I have this that at least keeps the line straight. But in the meantime, copper reached a peak, which was almost right on time. Okay. And we're still short. And again, I don't necessarily love being short here. This would fit into the gold kind of look. Okay. Or some of the others that are ascending. We're still kind of ascending here. Okay. So in my eyes, I would be watching. Okay. And I will be watching, 355 or so, because if we get through on the downside, 355, we're probably going back into the mid 340s. Okay. But it could certainly just as easily hold at this level and bounce. Okay. We're still short. So for today, I'm going to tell you that it's 340 to 375. Okay. But we are still short. Corn. Well, I tell you, I don't know if any of you listened to my update on Friday, but I said that the report's going to be bearish. Wheat grains are going to get clobbered, and I'm going to be buying. I'm going to have orders working on buying them. And certainly they did. They did, I did, and it was a very nice day. Okay. And I was kind of surprised at the selling that came out today, but it did. Again, when you're trading a market, look at the volume. Okay. When you're taking a market that's really not trading, okay, and I will go to my grave with these thoughts. Okay. You have big fund money out there, okay, that would love to be long grains. Okay. And I believe it is my opinion that they are trying to continue to keep pressure on these grain markets. Why? Because if they can keep pressure on them, they have the potential to trigger the banks to start to call some notes, okay, some loans in, okay, which would trigger lower prices, which allow them to walk in and pick up. Okay. Again, you may think that I'm out of my mind, which is very possible. Okay. But that is what I think. Okay. I think at these prices, with this lack of volume, and there's very little trade going on. Okay. But we're having a shortage of food. Okay. That has not changed, which again, so when you look at it from the logic standpoint, a lot of things don't make sense. Okay. But again, money does rule. And when you see volume like this, it's hard to argue. Okay. A trading place is kind of. Okay. In the meantime, we're short corn. Okay. And I'm not thrilled about that, but I would think that you're looking at, 640 on the top end. Okay. And you're looking at about 590 on the bottom end. Okay. But again, this is also, even with today's down move, is still kind of ascending into some resistance. Okay. Soybeans, which we are long, are really just stuck in the middle. See, it's interesting how we all often overreact to price in a given day, when if you look at the bigger picture, it really hasn't changed. Okay. Remember, look at this chart. Is there a reason to be overly bullish or overly bearish looking at this chart? Is there a reason to be either? And I hope your answer is no, because there is nothing. There's no reason. This is right in the middle. It's, in fact, if I did the math, it's probably dead in the middle from the top and the bottom. Okay. I would say supports at about 1360, resistance is about 1460. Okay. That'd be what I'd be looking at. Okay. But we're long. Okay. Again, we're long. That's all. Okay. I think you're right. I think it's consolidating. And wheat, very similar, but wheat looks a little bit worse. But wheat doesn't look, Ash, buddy, it may be time. Not quite yet. Okay. But now you can see a potential reason. Maybe it is making a bottom. Okay. Maybe the bottom has been put in the wheat market. Okay. Now I'm not ready to jump in and go all crazy, because if I was, I'd buy it, right? I can buy in a different account, and be just like a farmer and hold it like it's a bank account. Okay. And I could put that separate from my trading account. Okay. But I'm not ready yet either. But I do see much higher prices in our future. However, for today, we're short corn, we're short wheat, we're long beans. Okay. And I think beans are probably 750, 760 to 850. Okay. And until we can break out, now again, there's encouraging looks here. Okay. Especially when you look at 2 up days, heavier volume than the 2 down days. But patience is the key. Okay. That will always be the key for the rest of your days as a trader, okay, or investor. Patience will always be the key. Okay. Feeder cattle, look, feeders should have been higher. Now here's a sign. Okay. Feeders are barely up today. Okay, now we're long, but it's not a question of whether we're long or what, but they should have been up more. Why? Because corn was getting creamed. Okay. And normally people overreact to that situation. But what I have said, and I have repeatedly said on RFD TV every week, 3 times a week, the meats, the protein complex, which is cattle, fat and feeders, hogs, have reached the peaks. They're not going much higher unless there's a major crisis disease, okay, which is the driver, which is always a driver. They're done. Now, I don't think they're going down. They can grind a little bit higher, but I think they're more in a trading range, okay, which is exactly what you're seeing here. If you go back to when I started saying those exact words, okay. Now, one of the other things that would be a little bit disturbing for me if I was looking at this is that crude oil got wrecked today and still cattle was still a little bit lower, flat to lower. Why? Okay. In the meantime, we're long. I would not recommend anybody, unless you trade these or hedge these for your own farm, I wouldn't recommend trading them, especially now. Okay. I mean, again, there's a time and place for everything, and I don't think this is your best investment dollar right now. But it would be 175 to 182 or so. Live cattle, okay. Again, same thing. It couldn't get going. Now it did break out, but again, where are we going to go? The all-time high is in the high 170s. Okay. You know, I don't think there's much room, especially because of what's going on in the general economy. I mean, you know, protein, especially steak, which is beef, is more of a, is for a lot of families is a luxury. Okay. You know, not everybody can afford to go out and buy steak in the grocery store. Certainly you can't go out to a restaurant and go pay $68 for a steak now, or $100 for a steak. In the meantime, I don't think they got a lot of room to go on the upside. We are long. I would suggest you probably could see maybe as high as 142. I think you're probably 138 to 142 in fat cattle or live cattle. And hogs, you know, look, we're $100. That's what I said. I said 95 to 105. That's what I'd be watching. Okay. We're long, but I don't see them going. They're already much higher price now than they are at this time of year anyways. And they truly go into that backwardation formation now, because I think well, I'm gonna look. I'm not gonna think. I'm gonna go look for you real quick. Okay. This is October, which is 100. And I think that whatchamacallit, December is 90. Okay. So they go down, they peak in the summer, and then they go down through. And typically I've seen December hogs as low as like 38 cents. Okay. Now they're 90. So it's still pretty high. Okay. So I think they're pretty much fairly priced and not a lot of room to go a lot of places. Natural gas, which somebody asked about, look, we're long. It came down to support. Look at this. This is almost a classic. Here, you made a bottom. Okay. You rallied hard. You had a blow off top, even though there was no volume, but you had a blow off top, came all the way down, found new support, held, and boom, up you go again. I mean, again, I would think that, you know, $9 is going to be some resistance, but it wouldn't surprise me if this goes to $10 or higher. Okay. Now, again, we're getting closer also to the season, okay, where you get, you know, the first cold snap is always a clown show. Okay. Because a lot of these guys burn off the excess and they don't have it. And suddenly we get a cold snap and boom, they got to go chase it down. Okay. But natural gas, like, because of our wonderful energy policy, okay, again, just ask those who live in the UK or Germany what they're paying for natural gas. Okay. It's at least 4 to 5 times what we're paying. Would it be possible to follow nickel and lithium? They don't even trade. How can I follow them? Okay. there's no liquidity there. Give me a symbol, I'll look at it. I mean, again, you can't trade them. It's like trading lumber. Okay. You want to give me the symbols that you want me to watch? I'll watch them for you. I'll look at them, but you can't trade them. I mean, you can't trade them legitimately unless you just feel like gambling. Okay. There ain't no liquidity in those market products. Okay. And most people couldn't afford to, if they are available to trade. I'm just going to take I'm going to take one quick peek here. Okay. I'll just take a quick peek. Okay. I'm rushing through this. I don't want to waste too much of your time looking here, but as far as I know, there's no futures market on these that are liquid that anybody could trade. Okay. You give me symbols, I'll be happy to watch them for you. Okay. Gasoline's dropping because, right now people aren't driving. Okay. It still comes to a supply demand market. So anyways, back to here, 850 to 9 and then 10. 950 and then 10. I think you're going to see 4 digits here. The energy policy is horrible that we have. Okay. We have the worst energy policy in the world. Okay. And our suffering, okay, as Americans has not changed the carbon footprint in the United States nor globally. Okay. So we're suffering for no reason. Okay. Okay. We are EU is okay. Well, EU is that a stock symbol EU? Okay. Is that what you're saying? If it is, let me know and I'll look at it. I'm not gonna look at it now, but I will look at it before we go. Okay. But we are suffering for no reason right now. Okay. Because the carbon footprint, okay, has not changed just because we're buying our oil from Saudi Arabia. Okay. Crude oil, which somebody's asked, why is it going down? Well, again, demand is down. It's in a downtrend. Marketers are still going to trade basis of trend. Okay. So the trend is down. We're short. Okay. Now, again, I still believe that it'll go to all-time highs. Okay. People are going to, one of the things that has helped keep a lid on crude is what? People don't work. People don't go out to work anymore. A lot of people work from home. Okay. So that's changed a little bit of the picture. Okay. Consumption. But I think there'll be a lot more consumption. Okay. And I think you're going to see all-time highs. Okay. That's okay. When you get it, let me know. I'll look at it before we're done. I got no problem, honey. So in the meantime, we're short. We're coming to another key level, which is like 87 and change. Okay. I think you're probably looking at 95 to 80, 87, obviously. And then we'll see if it breaks below. It could go lower. It still can go lower. The trend is very clean and lower. Okay. Again, you take out demand, it's going to bring prices down in the near term. Okay. But demand is going to come back. Population is still growing. Okay. And it's not because we have so many performing electric vehicles out there right now. Okay. Cocoa, excuse me, which we're still short. Okay. Look, at the end of the day, it's been virtually nothing. Okay. It just churns, goes back and forth and goes nowhere. Okay. If you're looking at it, and I would tell everybody not to trade it. I mean, you want to invest in it, take a shot with it, carry it, which is what we do. 2380 to 2480. Cotton, all of a sudden, which we are long cotton. Okay. As I always tell you, we'll catch the trend when they come. Okay. And we got long cotton on a lower market Friday. Okay. And it was up limit Friday and up limit today. So suddenly, and I think you're going to see this in other commodities as well. Okay. And this is the problem. From my investigation and from the people that I know, there ain't no cotton out there. Okay. So what drove it down to 84 cents? Okay. So we're long. I would suspect that now 120 is the next stop, which would be, a limit plus. Okay. Sugar, which we're short. Okay. Again, it's at a key level, that should probably fail from here about 1870 or so. Okay. You're probably 18 to 1870. OJ, which we're long. And again, it's just consolidating. I mean, it goes up, it goes down. This is not the most, beautiful commodity in the world to trade. Again, these are not for trading. These are for holding. Okay. And you're playing the trend in coffee. Kilo Charlie, okay, is trying to break out. We are long now. We were short down. We're now long. Looks pretty good. And again, look at the pattern. It may be bigger, but look at the pattern. It is working on ascending into resistance, same as everything else. Okay. And I think coffee will see over $3 at some point. Okay. All right. I will take a look at nickel for you right now if I can. Let's see here. I guess I got to remember how to do all this stuff now. Yeah, you always catch me. I'm napping. Okay, so it's Q. Is it Q0? Q0 or QO is QO or Q0? It must be QO. I'm going to guess. Well, it can't be. So it must be Q. Oh, there we go. QO and Z. I can't. That's incorrect. QO is gold, not nickel. Okay. QO is gold. I did know that. I don't know why I'm such a dunce. Okay. I did know that. Okay. QO is gold, not nickel. Okay. And I'll take one more stab at it for you, but I got to move on. Okay. But certainly, again, nickel futures. Okay. On the MCX. Okay. Now, can you trade that? Okay. And see, today it traded one contract today. It traded one contract on Friday, last week sometime. It didn't trade it since the 20th. Okay, can you trade that? Is that tradable to you? You know what I'm saying? This is the problem. Okay. No, I know I'm with uranium. We're talking about nickel. Somebody asked me about nickel. Okay, I get there. Okay. Again, this is the problem, but trust me, you don't think if it was a liquid market, I wouldn't want to trade it? Okay. Uranium, yeah, I believe this is garbage at the moment. It may pop. It's been much higher. I remember playing it at one time. I think I played it in the $5 or $6 range, and that's about as high as it's been. Okay. Again, this is a penny stock. This has nothing to own or trade unless you feel like gambling on uranium. Okay. That's all. Again, you want to gamble on uranium? Hey, what better place than $4? It's like gambling on pot and buying Tilray for $4. Okay. But this is a penny stock that hardly trades. Okay. Is it going to be something big at some time? It could be. I have no idea. Okay. I don't have a clue. Okay. I own none. Not that I wouldn't, but again, look at where it's at. Just look at the entire range here. Go back in history as long as you want. Okay. Here. Since it came out, okay, it's been as high as $9 and as low as almost zero. Okay. So again, I don't know. You tell me. To me, if I'm trading, okay, I'm not trading this. Now, if I'm going to gamble and I want to be long uranium, it might be a play. Okay. So just remember, keep that in mind, that you have to have things that are liquid, okay, that you can trade, not just things because you like them. Okay. You have to have liquidity. Okay. Even if something may be in the news. Okay. Like Texas harvest is a disaster, is right. I think that's zero from what I understand in Texas and cotton. All right. Anyways, so let me stop this part one. We're not going anywhere. I'm just going to stop the recording and shift it over so you don't have to listen to everything twice if you don't want to. You get your choice. Let me just stop the recording. Hold on a second. Oh, I didn't do lumber. Sorry. Not that it matters, because lumber is another piece of crap of illiquidity. Look, I wish that lumber is liquid, because I'd be selling it right now. Okay. But in the meantime, it went below $5 again and it bounced. But this time I think it may be headed much further south. But again, I can't trade anyway, so it doesn't really matter what my opinion is. All right, let me do this now. Stop recording. Yes. Okay, and let's get to the next one. Record to the cloud. Yes. All right. What's up? If you weren't here before, I wake you now. What's up? Okay, it's time for the actual Monday call. Okay, and you know the Monday call, we use or the Monday marathon, and here we are. And look, you know, again, markets continue to go higher. Okay, but what am I going to do? Who's right? You or the markets? Okay, that's all I want to know. Who's right? You or the market? Okay, so you know, you may think you're right, but if you're losing money, not so good. Okay. In the meantime, I just want to remind you that those of you who came on Saturday to the Everything webinar, which I thought was pretty good. Okay. You know, the specials are over tonight at midnight, if you're interested. Anything. Okay. But we did I did the triple Lindy. Okay. So it was fun and it was entertaining and it was, we answered a lot of questions. So it was good. Okay. And if you haven't listened to the recording, I would suggest you do. It was pretty educational, I think. I think we covered a lot of good stuff, a lot of good ground. But in the meantime, again, the special ends tonight. Rodney Horowitz, yeah. I get no respect. Anyways, how about this? Trump is engaged in a cover-up. He's guilty of obstructing our attempts to frame him. I mean, look, again, it's really not funny. It's kind of scary when you see what's going on right now in this country. Okay. It's kind of scary. Okay. How many presidents have ever been, normally I would venture to say that every president in history has done something that they shouldn't have done. Okay. Everyone. But typically they go off the pasture. It's over. They leave him alone. They haven't let this guy alone from before he became president, and they're still going after him. What the hell are they afraid of? Okay. But hey, whatever. When Elon Musk offered to buy Twitter for $44 billion, I was told that he should have solved world hunger instead. So why don't I hear how Congress should have solved world hunger instead of giving the IRS $80 billion? It's a pretty good question. What do you think? Okay. That's a pretty good question. Okay. How about hunger in the United States? Why don't we start there? Okay. Why don't we start with our own people here? Okay. I think that'd be a pretty good idea, in my opinion. Okay. Anyways, as a reminder, we're going to Vegas. The early bird's over, but you can still come. It's going to be a great event, and I'm going to teach a money management strategy that'll be taught once and never again. Okay. In the meantime, as always, to my military people, and I got lots of you, and my police, fire, thank you. I can't, it's amazing how scary it is sometimes out there. But you know what? Who's always in the middle, in the front lines? My guys and girls of the military, public servants, police, fire, all you guys. You just, again, you work for no money, okay? And God bless you. You take care of this country, and I thank you as always. As you always get what I'm thinking, and COVID is here to stay. Well, okay, but I have this question. Okay, I'm not a believer. I had COVID. Okay, I had it. Okay. Not only did I have the 3 shots, which if I had to do all over again, I would never have had. Okay. I didn't know any better. Okay. But I would have never had them, but I did. I had COVID. Okay. And COVID to me was nothing more than a cold. Okay. So in reality, is COVID any more than the flu or the cold? Okay. Is it? I don't know. I don't have the answer, but in my opinion, based on the statistical information I can look at, no, it's not. Okay. The same people are at risk to COVID that are at higher risk are the same people that are the same high risk for the flu or for bad colds. Okay. It was for you because you were misdiagnosed. How about that? Would that be a correct statement? Home builders' confidence plummets for the 8th consecutive month. Worst slump since 2007. Now again, we'll just ignore that. Yes, I know, dear. I was with you. I wasn't with you, but I was thinking of you all the time. I know. Okay. It was very scary for you. Okay. But you could have gotten a case of the flu that turned into pneumonia very similar. It was misdiagnosed. Yes? Okay. So, again, now what is this telling us? Well, right now it's telling you nothing. The markets don't really give a crap about it right now. Okay. However, you continue to ignore the warning signs that are right in front of you. Okay. And eventually they come to truth. They become the truth. And again, I'm not predicting a crash tomorrow. Okay. I'm just telling you that when I went and looked, I did this yesterday. Okay. I told the morning crew that I was trading with, I told them this morning, I actually may make a switch. Okay. From the house I have to another house is down the street. Okay. Because it's a ranch versus a 2-story. But long and short of it is when I bought this house, you couldn't get it. Now they're offering rebates on the new house that they're building now because they're stuck. And they're starting early because they're stuck. Because demand is not what it was. You you can only flip houses for so long. Okay. Long COVID symptoms are much more serious. Okay. Listen, I don't argue with anybody about that. I don't know the answer. I know me, I know my family, and I know the reaction that we've had. I'm not going to argue. Okay. If you say so, I can go along with it. Okay. But I don't think that we were told the best story of COVID, nor do I think we handle it well. But again, that's just an opinion. So, is the housing market going to crash? You can bet your ass it's going to crash. Okay. Again, when housing becomes more liquid than stocks, okay, when housing becomes more liquid than stocks, which it was for a while, okay, and when the profit margins become so big so fast, and they're giving the money away like it was crazy, and suddenly the dynamics have changed, and now mortgage rates, again, if you're buying new construction, you got to qualify for 7.5%. Suddenly, the equation has changed. So that's going to be a problem. China does surprise rate cut to help its economy, but it won't work. Well, of course it won't work. Rate cuts don't work. Okay. Okay. Yes, it does. Makes more sense. I wish I could do it. I'm working on it. Okay. The rate cuts don't work. Have we not learned that here? What did all the massive rate cuts do for the United States of America? Okay. They could be harder, but with gambling so big now, it's not felt as much yet. Okay. But what has the rate cut really done for all of us? Think about it. Okay. You don't have to answer me now. I'll give you a quick summation. Okay. For us, what has the rate cut done? It's raised our taxes. Okay. It's devalued our currency. Even though our assets are worth more, they're really worth less because they buy less. Okay. And that's just the start. Okay. So what did the rate cuts really do for us other than to destroy a free market system? UK average electricity costs will soar to $5,000 per year by 2023. Is it there yet, Ash? Okay. Are you up there yet at 5,300? And if you think it's just in the UK, you're nuts. Okay. This is not just a UK problem. Okay. This is a global problem. Okay. After October. Okay. There you go. Again, look, I'm telling you, look, we handle things horribly. Okay. Because governments, plural, like to think they know better and want to steal more. So they have to put their fingers in everything other than let the market do what it's supposed to do. Okay. And these costs are for no reason. Okay. We have a lot of the answers for now. And I've asked this question maybe 500 times on this call. Okay. For Americans. The energy policy, the things that we have done so far, okay, to go against climate change, which personally I'm not a believer, but again, I'm not telling you shouldn't be. But you go climate change, okay. The things that we've done, at what cost of destruction to the average American do you want to get these things fixed when you're nowhere near being able to take it out on a mass market? Okay. As I said earlier, some small places can do it, no problem, but you're nowhere near being able to. You can't even fix the roads and the bridges. How are you going to get this whole project done? So at what cost do you want to destroy the American consumer? You can think about that for a while I go into the words of wisdom from our friend Connie, as who always brings them in, the importance of smaller steps. You may want to learn or know as much as I know, but what you forget is I've been doing this for 44 years. Okay. You have to be patient in your learning. You have to be patient in what you do. Okay. Because at the end of the day, okay, it takes time to learn. And you have to put effort in if you want to learn. Okay. Things don't just get handed to you. I know that we think that a lot do, but if you think about it, okay, remember, this is all I know. This is, and I try, believe it or not, okay, I try to learn something new every single day. Okay. That I work on that consciously, trying to learn something new. I'm trying to learn better ways to trade options. I've traded for 44 years. Okay. So again, I'm saying to you, okay, that yes, but you have to put the effort in. Take smaller steps to bring yourself into a position to go to the next step. Okay. You're not going to learn it all in 1 second, regardless. Okay. So be clear and be honest with yourself. Okay. And understand that here's where you are. Okay. And you cannot get any further yet. Okay. And you have to master one step at a time. Thanks, Connie. Study and practice and implement. Correct. Okay. And of course, her State of the Union, China's bitch. Okay. Now, again, no matter who you support, okay, you have to admit that we have certainly let China run all over us. Okay. That's factual. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. Okay. And for what? Why? Why aren't we doing our own? Why are we buying drugs? I ask it every week too. Why are we buying drugs from China? Why aren't we manufacturing our own drugs in America? Okay. Doesn't make sense to me. Okay. Nice work, Connie, as always. I thank you. Okay. And of course, I've been bitching for, I don't know, I've been bitching for 65 years. I got one more, I got one more coming. Okay. And of course, why do I have to use a two-factor authorization if I don't want it? Okay. Why do I have to use it? Okay. You know, I got locked out of my mail server on Friday night, right before I was getting ready to send out the reports for all the portfolio stuff. I couldn't get in. I had to wake everybody up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get it to use another service so I could get it done. Okay. But why do I have to use two-factor authorization if I don't want it? And they tell me I have to, that I can't do without it. And you're seeing more and more of it by other companies. Okay. Why? It's my information. What do I, if I don't care, why should you care? Okay. So somebody tell me, why do I have to use a two-factor authorization if I don't want to? I got enough trouble remembering one factor. How am I going to remember two? Okay. And the beauty about that is most of them want to do what? They want to text to your cell phone, which means they get your cell phone number so they can spam you with more shit. Okay. But there's a problem. When I'm on an airplane and I want to work, I can't get the two-factor going. Okay. So somebody tell me, give me the answer. Okay. You guys owe me a lot of answers for a lot of stuff. Okay. All right. Anyways, back to markets, back to business. All right. So the markets, the Dow, YM, Yankee, Michael, of course, you know, we use the futures because they're open 24 hours or more liquid. Well, we can argue liquidity, but again, we're still long and they're still going up. It reduces their liability. Okay. So again, so it's not for my benefit, just like FINRA, okay, which is not for the investor's benefit, just like everything else. It's to protect their own ass, not to protect mine. Would that be correct? Okay. Would anybody disagree with that? It's to protect their ass, not mine. Even though they tell me it's for my own best interest. Okay. So the Dow, Yankee, Michael, and as we said, last week, 32.5, whatever. Now we're at 33,000 support, and we're probably headed to 33,000, 34,000. I'm not a seller. I'm a buyer. I mean, again, intraday, anything goes. Okay. But now, net, we're going higher. Now, what do you notice about this chart? I'll give you a quick little lesson if anybody remembers what I taught. Okay. I understand. Again, it's to protect their ass, not mine. That's the only thing I wanted to hear. Okay, because I know that, you know that, but they tell you that it's for your own protection, which is not. It's not for my protection, it's for their protection. What do you notice here? You notice anything here interesting? Near breakout resistance? And how about maybe the speed in which it's going up, as slow as it is a little bit too fast? Okay. So more than likely, we are long. I would expect 34,000 to fail the next attempt through it. I would expect us to be consolidating. And I would, now doesn't mean we won't break out, but my expectation as of right now is that when I see you next week, we'll probably be somewhere within a couple of percentage points of where we are right now. Okay. This cannot exist at this pace. Okay. So I would suggest you probably see consolidation, even a potential pullback to 33,000. Okay. But we're still long. Okay. So 33,000, 34,000, Connie. Echo Sierra, same thing, the same characteristics. Okay. A little bit too fast up. But again, hey, we're long, so it's okay. Now, 43,000 seems to be, pretty strong. That's from the captain, but obviously I can see the same thing. I would think that you're looking at probably 4,200 to 4,300. Okay. Again, I would expect, just like the Dow, I'd expect to see somewhere in the same neighborhood a week from now. Now, again, anything can happen between now and next week, but in a perfect world with no major reasons for a big breakout to the upside or a collapse, okay, under a normal market condition, I would expect this to be churning sideways until we get back on pace. Okay. Just like 2 weeks ago. Exactly. Okay. So, but here, 4,200 to 4,300. Okay. But we are long and I'm not selling. I mean, again, I'm not selling overnight. The NASDAQ, November, Quebec, a little bit less, right? Not quite as, okay. But look what happened here. See, boom, sideways, boom, probably going to work sideways a little bit again. Okay. Again, this is what you should be learning. Okay. What is the down arrow? Where is there a down arrow? Do I have a down arrow? Where are we looking at? Is it on the last chart? I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah. Oh, I was probably looking at something. Okay. It's old. Remember, I don't erase these things but maybe once a year. Okay. Oh yeah. This was a double top. Okay. That was actually a double top and a downtrend. Okay. I was doing something. Okay. But I don't erase that crap. In the meantime, so back to the NASDAQ. Okay. Before Connie kills me. Okay. So we're breaking out. Okay. You would suspect that probably the next resistance is going to be about 13.8. Okay. Support is probably around 13.4, 13.3. And again, I think you look for a little bit of consolidation, but the trend is still up. Okay. Above a stair steps. There you go. Okay. Look, we're going higher. Remember, dull markets drift anyways. You don't sell dull markets because you'll never get them back. There's not enough liquidity. Okay. It becomes the same old story. Okay. And of course, the Russell, which continues. Oh, geez, same thing, right? Now the Russell was very weak today compared to the other indices. Why? Because look at how much it had gone up going into it. The Russells already did what the others did today. Okay. So the Russell looks like it's got probably 20,000 for 50, 20,000, 2050, 2050. You're probably 1950 to 2050. And I would expect to see some consolidation. Okay. Now we can break up farther. So hell, you could blow off even farther and come back down. But when we get back together, I would suggest we'll probably be in a similar neighborhood. Okay. Because again, you cannot sustain angles, okay, that are too sharp in either direction. When you get them too sharp to the downside, what happens? You get a bounce. You get them too sharp to the upside, you get a sell. Okay. Now again, it's hard to play those, but understand what should happen based on understanding the market. Okay. That's what you really want to understand. You want to understand based on what's going on in the market around you. Okay. And I assure you, if you put the 200-day moving average up, we're probably well above the 200-day moving average right now. Okay. And then the VIX, well, here we are suffering at 20. Okay. And it's kind of stuck. Now the VIX looks like potentially may have made a bottom. Now that doesn't mean that the markets are going to go down. Remember, the VIX itself is really not the fear index. Okay. The VIX itself, if you want the real product, what it is, buy to open, sell to open. When the imbalance is buy to open, okay, options, the VIX will rise. It could be calls. Okay. But if you remember the dynamics, if the number one strategy other than call buying is put selling, which is selling to open, okay, and suddenly the put sellers are not participating, That's why we suddenly get the big spikes in volatility. Okay. Not because the market's going down. This is just a bubby mice, if you understand that, that was made up by the media. Okay. All right. Apple. Alpha, Alpha, Papa, Lima. Okay. Now, again, we're still long. I thought we'd get back down to about 165 last week. We did. Okay. I think, and I still think we're probably getting a little bit too far ahead of ourselves. I think you're looking at 160, but 165 is the next real support. And it looks to me now they're going to test probably the all-time high, 178. Okay. We're still long, but again, just like anything else, this is going up here. Too fast, sideways. This is too fast. It's probably going to go some sideways action. Okay. Now, again, doesn't mean it can't go up further before coming down. All it means is if it gets too far ahead of itself, it means the sell-off will be much bigger. That's all that really means. Okay. The natural progression of a market is steady at about 45 degrees. When you get off of that pattern on either direction, and if it continues too far, it makes the retracement move much bigger and much more painful or good, depending on which side of the market you're on. Okay, so 165 to 175 for now, Connie, but really 178 is what we're watching. Alpha Golf AG, which we're long. Look, it's consolidated. Remember I said it's going to stay in this range? Well, here we are. We're right at the key moment in time. I would suggest, again, this is really in the portfolios for one reason, and that reason is for when it goes up. And if you want to gamble on silver, this is a pretty good place to start. Okay, pretty low risk, pretty low tolerance. But I would suggest that you've got $8 or $7.80 support, $9 resistance. But if silver does get rolling, this is going back up to the 14s. Okay, but again, that's a big if. In the meantime, for today, 750 to 9. AMD, Alpha Michael Delta. Well, we're still long, and it's still kind of going higher. And of course, as we spoke about in the future, because I can tell the future now. I mean, I told you this was too fast. I told you it'd have to go sideways or come down. And what did it do? It came down right to our level 95. Bang, it's back to 101. And really, what are you now? You're really just consolidating between 105 and 95, kind of dead in the middle. But now you're back on a better pattern, okay, for a more of a continuation of a rally. Okay, so you've now resolved this, the overbought, the big spike up. You came all the way back down, and you're now just rolling along. Okay, so for me, I'd be looking first to potentially be, if I were looking to buy more, I'd probably look at about 97.50 to 95. Okay, but the big level, 95 to 105. Amazon, which we don't have yet, but we're getting there. We're getting closer. But where is Amazon? Oh, it consolidated. Oh, wait, what did I draw on? Oh, isn't that amazing? So things I told you a week or two ago are coming into fruition over the last 2 weeks. Again, it doesn't make me a genius. I'm not always right. Okay. But what I'm trying to teach you is to understand how the market themselves work. Okay. It's like in life. Okay. If you get too excited about something, okay, and you get too wound up into something good, when the something good wears off, what happens? You crash. Okay. When you get off of even keel, okay, just like markets, you crash, you collapse. Okay. That's why I've always told my own son, okay, who likes fantasy football, he likes to be in the big pool with me, he likes to bet the games. I go, great. I said, but remember one thing. If the losing ever pisses you off more than the good you feel from the winning, then it's time to quit. Okay. Because when it's making you too emotional, you're out of line. Okay. In the meantime, Amazon, we would be long if we're in, but I think you see resistance about 145, and I think you get support about 130, 135, 145. Bravo Alpha, which we're still short. And again, this is just consolidating, not a surprise. The big spike up was quickly sold off. As I said, I told you 100, boom, down they came. We're just in the middle of nowhere. It's still in 85 or so to 100. We're headed lower. I would seriously look at, I'm not telling you to do so, but I would seriously look at 95. Okay, but it's right for today, 85 to 100. Fido, which again, I'm going to take off eventually when I get around to it. But I do like it and I do own it. So I figure why not share it with you too? Okay. I look, this is very similar to the patterns we've looked at already. Looks like it's getting ready to make a move to the upside. Now, is it going to go up? I don't know. But I'm a big believer in Bitcoin. I'm a big believer in things that are going on. Okay. I mean, listen, I don't have enough money involved that I would lose any sleep over. Okay. But I do think they're going up. Okay. And certainly I would buy more. This is $14. I think it's probably 14 to 16. Big Q. And look what happened suddenly to Big Q. Oh, look at that. And look at that. We talked about this bottom right here, if you remember. Okay. Got a little bit of rally, ascending into, and bang, there it goes. And you look at the pattern. It's right on track. Okay. It is a perfect pattern. Okay, to continue. And I'm not telling you to jump in today. Right now, I would think support would be somewhere about $9. I'd be looking at, a little bit 9 and change. Okay. And if it can get through 10, it's probably going to 12. Okay. But it looks pretty solid. And it looks like it's breaking out to the upside. Chewy. Charlie Hotel Whiskey Yankee. No, we're still along this and it's still going up. Now, again, I would suggest that this is way too fast. And I think you're going to see it stall right around here. Remember, we said 50 last week would be an area that it should slow down. It did. And it fell below it twice or 3 times. I think you'll see some sideways. I would be watching this right now, 45 to 50. Okay. And again, I wouldn't be in a hurry to jump in at 50. Not that it can't go higher. I think it will go higher, obviously. But at this point, I think there's a greater probability that it consolidates or comes back to 45 before resuming the rally that it's in right now. Okay. But it is pretty bullish, but it is moving a little bit too fast. 45 to 50. Coin. Well, somebody said they're looking for a place to buy is in the bottom. I think the bottom's in. That's my opinion. Okay. Now we're long coin, but I forget about what we are. I think the bottoms are in here. I don't think they're going down again. Now it may go lower from here, but I don't think we're going below $40 wherever the low was. Okay. I think that's over. Okay. I think that this is going to turn out to be the performer. Unlike my crappy call on DraftKings, I think this turned out to be the performer that I thought it could be. Okay. And I think you're going to see, levels start to hold. Now it'll have downtrends just like everything else, but I think right now you're after the big rally up, you went dead sideways for 6 days or so. Okay. And I think you've seen 90 is really pretty solid support. Okay. And I think you're looking at 90, then 100, and then 120. DraftKings, Delta. Is there something going on with this after the market? Okay, am I missing something? Somebody's in a parabolic move. Is there something going on that I don't know? Actually, I guess I could look for myself to see for sure. No, it's a little lower. Okay, but it has made a good move. And what this says to me, okay, obviously I own a lot of this. Okay, I stopped accumulating, unfortunately. But again, what this says to me, that there's something going on here more than meets the eye. Okay. It is my opinion that this stock is in play. It is my opinion that it may get taken over, which is, I think, our true salvation for those of us who are stuck in it. Okay. But from a straight charting standpoint, had a nice uptrend, broke too fast, consolidated a little bit, and is now breaking again. I would suggest that if there's a deal in play or coming, okay, or there's going to be a rumor about that, then it's going to spike wherever it's going to go, because then it's going to be basically over. But if it's going to continue to rise, and we are long this, by the way, but if it's just going to continue to play, then it will find its way back to this 45-degree angle. Now, again, it doesn't have to come down right away. It can go sideways as the angle goes up to meet it as well. Like if you ever watch the Bollinger Bands where they move, they don't commit until the bar's over. In the meantime, they keep flipping, the ends keep flipping up and down. Okay. In the meantime, as I look at this, 18 support, and again, resistance, the next resistance is going to be, 21 is where we are, and then, 24. Meta, or the old Facebook, Foxtrot, Michael Echo Tango Alpha. Okay. And of course, we're along this, and it's trying to break out. Again, a little bit of a steep move up, which leads to sideways action. I think your first resistance is going to be about 185. Okay. And I think your support is about 180. So it's pretty tight range, right? Now, if it went to 170, would it surprise me? No. And if it went back to 200, would it surprise me? No. Okay. But right now, what we're watching, it looks to me to be 180 to 185. Okay. First Solar, look at this. Whew. Hot doggy. Yeah. And again, this keeps spiking, going sideways, spiking, going sideways. I mean, this is a breakout, kids. This is a runaway train for whatever reason. Okay. I don't know if the stock is possibly in play. It doesn't look like it, but it could be. But in the meantime, there is a lot of shorts there. And if you've ever seen a real short squeeze, you know how that can really punish those who are in. Just ask Bill Ackman. Okay. So where do we go from here? Well, I think you continue to watch. Okay. Again, we're long. So obviously that's a good thing. Okay. To me, I'd like to find a place to get short as a trade. Okay. I don't have a place yet, but right now I'd be looking at the 120 area. Okay. And I think support is probably 110. Okay. But I would love to see one more spike up on volume. And the only way I would short this, just to give you a full disclosure, I would sell a bunch of call spreads deep in the money, which is like creating a put without the time to kick. Okay. GDX, Golf Delta X-ray, okay, which we remain short, and it remains in a coma. Okay. Now, again, it does look like it is trying to break to the upside, but certainly, obviously, gold's move today didn't help it. It's kind of hovering. It's hard. The levels are so hard even, but 28, it's probably 26, 25 to 28. Again, I would never own this. I would never buy it other than in the portfolio model. Okay. To me, I don't trade these miners. This crap, to me, is garbage. But again, it was a way to show some representation at a lower price. 25 to 28. Google, Golf, Oscar Golf, Lima. And look at how nice that is. Look at that. The spike up, slight sideways, and now just nicely, gently rolling. Okay. Now it has broken out. So we now know that support is about 117. Okay. So our next resistance is about 124. Okay. Now we have no position as yet. I personally have a position, but we have no yet. This will also be in the portfolio shortly. Okay. But for today, 117 to 124. And certainly if we get through 124, I think 131 is next. Okay. And I don't think it's going down. It looks like, if you understand the phases of the market that I teach, this is beautiful. This is a beautiful breakout. This is a textbook breakout out of consolidation. So we'll see. GLD, Golf Lima Delta. Well, it tried, but it couldn't do it. Okay. It tried, but it couldn't break out. Okay. And certainly we're still along it, which is interesting. But I think you're looking at 168 to 165. Pretty tight range. Okay. And it doesn't look great. I mean, that doesn't look horrible. It just doesn't look great. Okay. But again, when you're benchmarking against a commodity, which gold is a commodity, it's a hard asset commodity, but it's a commodity, it could take off at any time. Goldman Sachs, Gulf Sierra, my goodness, we're long this as well, and it continues to go up. And certainly here. So again, here's the same example. Are you getting tired of me repeating this? Straight up, sideways, straight up. What would we expect? Well, let's find out where it should go to. I don't think you're going to see much more than right now than 365 probably. Okay. You could, and again, listen, I can't control it, but I would suggest that we're going to stay in this range for a while. But we're still long though. Okay. And I think that support's probably around 340, 345, and resistance is going to be about 365, 370. But again, I'm not a seller yet anyways. IWM, India Whiskey Michael, and nicely, again, got too far off, It never came down, but did go sideways to allow some catch up, and now is slightly a little bit ahead, but once again, breaking out. Okay, so we know we have solid support at 195. We've got resistance. The next resistance should be about 205. Okay, 195 to 205. Las Vegas Sands, again, similar, straight up, been sideways. And notice, it has never gotten real trouble, and we're just about now ready to catch it. Okay, with our little trend as it continues to go higher. In the meantime, 37 to 40 until further notice. Mara, Michael Alpha, Romeo Alpha. No, we're still long it. And again, it's still going up. Okay, yes, it's sideways, but we just had a position on it from our Saturday call at like 14 bucks, right? 13, whatever it was. $17, pretty good move. Okay, and again, it's up a little bit too fast, so sideways would be perfect. And I would suggest, again, this is a very tough trade. I'll be clear with everybody. This ain't the easiest thing to trade because it was 6, it was 80. Okay. In the meantime, where it's going from here, I think you're looking at 16 or 15 as some support, and your resistance is right about here right now, about 18 to 20. I think you're probably going to see 20. Okay, and then we'll be able to get a better judge. Okay. I think we'd be from today, we'll call it 16 to 20. NEO, November India Oscar. Surprising that the rate cuts didn't make these jump even higher. Okay, it was up a little bit today, but here we are, we're still long, out of consolidation, and now starting to trend into an ascending pattern. Okay. So again, I'd look at this, and I think you've got potentially new support at about 20. Okay. You're at resistance, which is like 2150. Okay, if we can get through 2150, I think you'll take a test to 24. A test drive to 24. Nougat, November Uniform Golf Tango. Okay, which we remain short. Now again, there's no reason to be long it yet. It has not given us a reason. Okay, the resistance is still like 34, 35. Okay, now if it makes some higher support, which could be 30, it might be worth looking at. But really just a very tight range. And when you deal in these leverage ETFs, they're very much of a pain in the ass when it comes to trying to trade them, because the multiplier factor in which they work off is a very big challenge. Okay, because again, going up, it needs to get up higher so that it accelerates up faster, because it makes it go up faster. But as it's down here, it's hard to get it moving. So it's really got to break out of here. But in the meantime, we're still short anyways. And I would say 30, 28 to 35 would be what I'd be watching. NVIDIA, November Victor Delta Alpha. Okay, which, we're still long. And again, look at that. Came right down to support, bounced, but nothing's really changed. I think you're looking at 165 to 200. That's all. Hasn't changed. I think it's got earnings in a couple of days too, or a couple of weeks, whatever. Penn is also acting well here. Now we're still short Penn, okay, but it is acting much better. And again, to me, this is very similar to DraftKings. Okay, this has got to be in play too. Okay, and Barstool Sports, if you've heard of them, that's Penn as well. They got a pretty big audience, so they may, again, there may be a deal here somewhere. The closer we get to the election, the higher the likelihood that Vegas is going to take out a couple of these, because they're going to need them to compete. Okay, because right now in Vegas, if you do use apps, the apps anywhere but Vegas are great. Vegas, they suck because they don't want to give you anything. They want to keep the lid on you. Okay, versus I got to drive 20 minutes to the Arizona border to make some plays on DraftKings. Okay. In the meantime, 34, 40. The Qs, Quebec. Here we are. Key moment. Is it going to break out from here? It's trying. Okay. Certainly trending nicely. Not getting too crazy. Okay. I would think it's, I'd say 320 to 335. And we are still long, by the way. Roku, Romeo Oscar Kilo Uniform. Well, we're still short, and it's really, again, this is just going down. I would be a seller of this up at 90 or so all day long, maybe sooner, but right now 90 would be where I'd be looking at. Okay. I think you're looking at probably 80 to 90, but I don't think there's much hope left for Roku. Okay. Square Dance, Sierra, Quebec. Well, we're still long and it's just going sideways, which is exactly what we expected. Okay. It isn't doing anything that we don't surprise. We're still long it in the portfolio. I'm still long it. I think it's a good company. I think they're going to do well. And if cryptos ever come back, it's really going to explode again. In the meantime, I think it's just in a range, 80 to 90. Okay. You can even make it tighter than that, but you're looking maybe to the long side of this. Okay. And the key to break out here is like this 92 level. S&P, Sierra, Papa, Yankee. Again, breaking out of consolidation again. And don't be surprised if you see it come back to 420 or so on the way down. I think that you're probably reaching a resistance level right now. Again, this is still very bullish, 430. I think you're 420 to 430. Okay. And I would not be surprised whatsoever to see it pull back a little bit. And that's just because of the speed in which it's broken out. Tango, Quebec, which we don't trade, but has been very solid. And as I mentioned a couple weeks ago, it's a good place to take a shot. Hey, look, if you believe the markets are going much higher and you want to gamble, this would be a place to gamble for a couple of weeks. Okay. You can't put it in your portfolio as a hedger because you go broke. But if you want to take a shot, this is a good place because, again, obviously the multiplier, the higher the stock gets, the faster it goes up. Okay. And it is trying to break out. I would look at this. I would take a serious gander at this at about 35 if it pulled back down. Okay. Tesla, well, look at that. 850 to 950, we said. Oh, there's 850, and we're on our way back to 950. But Tesla looked like it wants to break out again to the upside. Now it's very much set up to break to the upside. I don't trade it because I was always short it and lost my ass. So I decided not to do it anymore. But 850 to 950, we don't carry it anywhere. But certainly, it looks like it wants to go higher. Win, Whiskey, Yankee, November. It's got, just had earnings. Okay, so looks very solid. As I remember when I told you down in the 50s, I'd be a buyer just to buy it, which I did. I owned it anyways, but again, I thought that it's a pretty good company. It's the best in Vegas. I think it goes up. I think you look at 70 is the next resistance level. I think it can go higher than that. Okay. I think we're in position for a lot more movement. Okay. And I think, again, based on what I can see in this town, it's pretty crazy around here. Okay, pretty packed. So we'll see. Okay. In the meantime, for today, 64 to 70. XBI, X-Ray Bravo India. Oh, too far up and went sideways. How about that? Looks pretty good. Okay. I would suspect you're going to test, the 97 level and probably 100 again. Okay. This is the next major area. Now we carry this in nowhere, but the next major level to watch is 97. Okay. But certainly it looks like it wants to go much higher. Okay. So certainly these levels are in play. Okay. And Zoom, which we no longer carry, had a little bit of a pop today, but it's really just stuck right in consolidation. Okay. Now they do have earnings in the next week or two as well. So just be careful. That's my words to you is be careful. Okay. I mean, the levels here are probably, 100 to 120, but they'll be outside of those numbers, one or the other on earnings. You can bet on that. Okay. All right. Any questions? Any stocks I'm going to look at real quick? I'll be happy to do so. Otherwise, I will kiss you all good night and tell you have a great night. NRG, November Romeo Golf. I know that symbol. The other one I know for sure. NRG Energy. I mean, this had a nice bounce off the bottom. Okay. Off of 35. Right now it's right up, coming up to resistance at 40 something. I mean, I wouldn't be a buyer here. Okay. I would, if I wanted to buy this, I'd look at it, I'd look for a pullback back to around 40. Okay. And be a buyer. If I would want to play this, what's the dividend like? Big or little? Okay. Devon Energy, that I know very well. I actually own that. Devon. I mean, this looks fine. Again, it peaked like everything else, came down, got crippled, is now trying to run up again. I think that, you're looking at probably, 65 is pretty good resistance. I would be interested looking at this at 60 if I were looking to re-enter. Yeah, I figure good dividends. Energy typically, or the, what do they call them? I forget what they call them, but the limited partnerships are pretty good. Okay. Yeah, I can do that for you, sir, certainly, my friend. But any idea ARK Investments is going nuts on Zoom? I don't follow them at all. That's Kathy Wood, ARK, right? She's an idiot anyway. She busted everybody once. You gonna go let her bust them again? I don't get too involved with that. Is that a symbol to ARK? I don't pay much attention, right? If it's nothing that affects me, it's double A, right? Double ARK, is that right? I think. If it is, no. All right, whatever. I don't know. I don't pay too much attention just to things that I'm not going to deal in. And again, Kathy Wood's an idiot. I said that from the beginning, that she was an idiot. Okay. And not that I'm getting against her, just again, the world ain't that easy. ARKK. Okay, got it. Yeah, I'll look it up. I'm good. ARKK. There you go. I mean, so it's hovering around the bottom, right? It came off of 40, just off a natural. Okay. I mean, it looks okay from a stock standpoint. Okay. Do I want to buy this? No, I think it's going down. I think it's probably going to zero. But again, certainly I could make a case for a trade at some point. But right here, it's got to break out of resistance first. Remember, when you're dealing off the internet, right, and off of Zoom calls, there's always a little bit of added spice to it. Okay, so just be careful. Okay. Planeteer, Papa Lima Tango Romeo. Man, this stock is a dog. This is a dog. Okay. I don't foresee anything in the future for them. Yeah, I had a big position in this. Okay. I still have a small one, but I hate it. Okay. This didn't benefit from anything anytime. Okay. This is the problem when you get into these wild markets that run around like crazy. Okay. In big lumps. And then the dust settles and all the garbage that benefited from the movement ends up just more garbage. Okay. Well, kids, listen, I'm going to give you the same message. Okay. Be careful. This is not a market to be aggressive. This is a market to be extremely passive. You're going to get yourself in a jackpot ENPH shirt. I know that one too. I must look at these before. This looks great. This looks terrific. Okay. This is, would I want to jump in right here at 300? Probably not. I mean, if I had my druthers, 280 would be a spot I'd like to buy it. Okay. Looks great. Yeah, the pattern looks great. Everything's great. Okay. Almost a cup and handle. Okay. So it looks pretty good. No. So just be careful out there. Look, there's a lot of stuff going on. Okay. There's a lot of warning signs that are being posted to these markets. Okay. And just take heed. Don't guess. Listen to the warnings. Don't trade off of the warnings. But the housing, that's a warning. It doesn't mean it has to happen tomorrow, but that's a problem. Because real quickly, before I let you all go, well, you can go whenever you want. Obviously, you're in change. But think about it this way. Okay. If housing's in trouble, as I told you it was, okay, if I'm right, how many different industries does that affect? Okay. So think about that from a bigger picture. Again, don't always focus in on the small details as Ed Norton, okay, cutting up the dollar bills to get the fortune, but think about it in a bigger picture. How many other industries get affected by a collapse in housing? Lumber, Home Depot, banks, there's a whole list of them. In the meantime, bottom line, be careful. This is not a market to be active. It's a market to be very passive. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks so much, and I'll see you.